people, what's up? Are you ready to share with me today? Because this gorgeous young lady here is definitely going to serve us up some delicious treats. We have the owner, and listen, I know she may look young, but yes, she is the owner. She is a boss babe, and her company, her brand is Sweet Treats by Jordyn. So I think that already gives you an indication of what to expect. But first of all, Jordyn, I'm happy to have you here with us and keeping well. And I must say, I love the shades. Looks like a little lilac, but a little blush. I think everything's working right now. So how are you doing today, love?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. Today, I think it's the perfect opportunity. It's a fresh start to the year. I'm just back on the show and I'm ready to share with St. Lucia all the things that I love so far. And listen, over the Christmas time, your treats definitely kept friends and family around me going, and people were buzzing, but I didn't realize it was your company as yet. So, again, yet another amazing young lady doing something, tapping into her talent. So, tell us a bit about your business.
So, I began my business when I was around 10 years old. It was actually an assignment for school. I went to the Bonte Preparatory School, and eventually it built. I grew it, I grew it, I grew it, and then I got to high school, and I realized, well, this could be profitable. I got in trouble a few times for for selling in school, but when you have a passion, nobody can really stop you. So the business, I sell baked goods. I've kind of um expanded it out of, I started as cupcakes and I expanded it. I got to brownies, the loaf cakes, and then recently, as of this year, I began doing whole cakes, and that kind of just took off and took over my whole business. So I also try to highlight other stuff that I do because the whole cakes can kind of overshadow the rest of the stuff that I do. But yeah, that's essentially what I do.
Well, listen, I didn't even know you started from that young. So now it's you're making me gonna dig here now. So since you started at 10, where did that love for baking come from?
Um, well, a few family members, a friend of my mom's and my grandma had bought me a few baking supplies, like an easy bake oven and a mixer. And so,
Easy bake. I remember that.
remember, so that's how I started. I used to love baking the cakes, and then I kind of just experimented and I tried different stuff. Um, I didn't always know, and my parents don't bake, so I didn't have, the baking background. But from I guess you kind of learn as you go. I used to make icing with brown sugar. It wasn't it was just a learning experience. So I wouldn't say that used to watch my mom bake or whatever. I just kind of grew into it. I can't really tell you why or how, but look where it's gotten me and look how big it's gotten. So I'm grateful that I even tried it from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. And so when you were back in school, at that point, too, since you said you're baking in school, it kind of grew. Did you already have a idea and any sort of inclination that hey, maybe I may want to pursue this as a full time career, or start my own business when I, years down the line?
Um, well, I always had a dream to go into the medical field. Now, I'm a firm believer in do what calls you. And so I kind of never stopped baking because I just kept on, no matter how much I tried to stop and like be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, that. It kind of just always pulled me to bake and to continue. And so that's how I grew my business. But in terms of building on the whole, baking scene, I might not want it to be my full blown career. But I always know, and I'm very happy that I know I can fall back on baking if, eventually I were to finish school, because I'm in school right now, and I were to come back, and I wanted to do something and I wanted to bake, because I already know that I've created that platform for myself. I've created the business, I've registered the business, so I always know that I can come back and do it, and I do. And I've been away. Well, I've been living in the US from 2016, but every single time I've come down here, summer and Christmas and sometimes Easter, I would have a bake sale and I would continue my sale. So I've never actually stopped.
But even when you were baking back at school, you know what's on my mind now? Have you ever ran into any of those teachers? Because I know being an SC lady, we weren't allowed to sell. And in my days too, when we had a project, I was selling cupcakes too. But I know after the project, I continued. So sorry, sister, and everybody else if you've seen that. But have you run into any teachers? Obviously, now that you're doing this, I'm sure it must be a riot.
Well, While I was in school, I actually got in trouble, particularly with sister, because I was selling on Ash Wednesday and I had no clue that I was, not
You were looking for trouble.
allowed to. Um, Safe to say, like the Thursday, I was back in school selling. Um, but it was it was kind of a thing where there was a high demand. I was being asked, and what happened was I used to get orders. So not necessarily I would be in school and be selling singular cupcakes. People would order from me and teachers as well. And so I would bring my orders to school and eventually people would ask me, if I could just bring a few and they would buy it and then eventually that's how it kind of grew the brownies as well. And I used to sell candy as well. So
You had a whole underground business running and had teachers buying. But you know what, Sister Rufina, if you're watching today, we should be proud of Jordyn because look at where she is now. So, it's all worth it. So you won't be in trouble anyways. But at this point, too, is there anything special that you're doing for Valentine's? Because I know that's coming up soon.
I am. I just released my Valentine's Day menu. I've added a few more things based on popular demand. I have a few of my specialty cakes, such as the chocolate cakes with the strawberries, chocolate dipped strawberries, and the drip.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, what is the thing that you want people to remember about this brand?
I want people to remember that this is the brand that grew because I continued and I pursued it from a very young age. And I want people to know that if they have a dream that they should pursue it and they should go ahead no matter what people say because it started off very small. It started off very, very, very small. There were lots of obstacles I had to, overcome. I moved away.
Through coronavirus into the mix.
Yeah, that's enough for to say that that was a huge obstacle. But I just want people to remember that it's all about what you love, and you'll never feel like you're working if you're doing what you love.
Well, you see, for somebody who's still just keeping this on the back burner, I really like the detail that you're putting into it and the effort and the energy. And I think that should be something that we take for the rest of 2021. Let's be like Jordyn, guys, and no matter what we're going to do, if it's temporary or long term, we're going to put full energy into that. So, all the best on this business, girl. And of course, Valentine's is coming, guys. So, make sure you get your sweet treats by Jordyn.